I can see something. I'm live, apparently. Thank you very much. Okay. I don't know if this works or not. I'm assuming that it probably does. There were 6 people out there, and this has been out for 27 seconds, so that's quite exciting, which means I assume that somebody out there will tell me, oh, yes, I am alive. Excellent. Thank you, Claire, very much indeed. That's marvelous. So basically, what's going to happen is that I am going to waste time for 13 minutes, I think, probably, faffing about and doing stuff and seeing who's around and doing it. David Lewis says I've got good books. You know, they look good, and some of them I've read, but many of them I haven't read. There are certain things which I could read to you from now, and that would sort of pass. So they divide themselves into ones that are actually faintly useful that everybody stopped using because the internet was invented, to ones that are not even slightly useful, but they're old and curious. So a curious garden book. It goes back to front. The Century Book of Gardening, that was published by Country Life. I don't know when it was published, but quite a long time ago, basically. And this is the years, and I remember these years because I'm quite ancient. I remember these years when all gardening books had black and white pictures, completely useless, really, in many, many ways. Look, the Italian gardens, isn't that colourful and marvellous and wonderful? But sort of kind of, look, oh, that's rather fine. Good Lord, look there. You see that in that picture there? That woman there, that is actually Anne-Marie Powell in a strange hat. But there we go. So yes, there's books, and we might look at those in a minute and see how we roll. It's been a beautiful day. Truly, truly, truly glorious day. It's been sunny and all of this kind of stuff. Sunny, beautiful, busy, rushing around the place, and you sort of can't help but think about where we should be, which is basically at Chelsea Flower Show right now. Tuesday is the sort of medals day, when we give out medals for gardens, and it's also the day when we go and do feedback, which means we go and wander around the place and see all the people who have been judged and tell them why either they're geniuses or else they're a bit shit, however it goes. Most of them are geniuses, and sometimes they've just missed a gold medal, and sometimes they've got one, and sometimes everything's gone a bit wrong, and it's sort of explaining to people and working out how it sort of goes. But that's not going to happen. So should I just keep talking? I tell you what I really need. Will you excuse me for a minute? I think I could do with a glass of water. I hope that everybody else will be charging their glasses and doing all that kind of thing. But I'm going to go and get a glass of water, and then I will return to you. Is that allowed? It means I'm not doing a run out. I'm not disappearing. I am here, and I will be back in a minute. It also gives you a chance to notice that I'm not actually wearing shorts underneath this jacket. Da, 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 da. Okay, James has now returned. Yes, you could, David. Thank you so much. I put, so you put drawing pins on my seat. This is a confession I have to make to you now. When I was 10, the guy who sat next door to me in lessons was called Richard Waddicker, I think. And I found a pin. Hang on, I should show you. Okay, so Richard Waddicker was sitting next door to me, and I decided it would be amusing, which it was obviously, to put a drawing pin on his chair so that he came back and he sat on top of it. And so I started off with that drawing pin, looks like that little normal drawing pin, and I thought that's not very interesting. So eventually, I went for a drawing pin that was more of a sort of map pin and looked like that. And I put it on his chair, and I thought, no, he's not. He's going to notice he's going to fall, and he didn't. He sat right on top of it, and it was basically sticking out of his shorts for a while as he ran around squawking. And it's one of those things about which I feel mildly guilty, even now, many years on. So if he's watching, which I find extremely unlikely, and he remembers that incident, which I also think is unlikely, then I apologize, really. But as nobody's hand up yet, I've managed to do that confession without anybody really noticing it, apart from you perennial people, and you will forgive me immediately, or hopefully, or soon enough, anyway. So what else can I tell you about today? I did a garden masterclass about the future of the Chelsea Flower Show, which was illuminating and interesting and jolly. And I did a Zoom thing about something I've got to do tomorrow for the RHS, which is sort of Q&A number. And then I did something else, but I can't remember what it was. I did some work, actually. It's also quite interesting. And then I just kicked around, and I ate scones, and I ate ginger cake, and I had some rye bread, I think, as well, because living with us is my daughter, who is an extraordinary pastry chef, which means that every day is a new cake. And lockdown is mostly about James becoming enormously fat and vast and being incapable of moving anywhere ever again. So if I put all the questions, none of the questions have changed, have they? Chris will tell me that. No, that's okay. Nothing's different, so everything is as it should be. I like this. I can understand what's going on here. I'm sort of finding my way around. Okay, I can make it bigger. That's much more interesting, and it gets even bigger. And we put those over there. When do we stop? Do we have a gap? We do have a gap. I'm sure somebody told me there was a gap at one point, but I can't remember when it was. Is it on an email that somebody sent to me? Says he, talking generally to the world, but mostly to Chris. Did you send me an email saying when there was to be a gap? I don't know. Yeah, after round three. Okay, that's all I need to know. So round 3 is sport, innit? Sport, and then we have a gap, and then there's 2 more. So in the gap we do the marking, and then we do the marking at the end, and it all sort of happens like a lovely little, quite a quiz, I suppose, really, isn't it? It's sort of how it sort of works. And so we sort of trundle along. So now it's 3 minutes to 7. It says down here that there are 32 people. Oh God, I was looking at the wrong thing. There's a bit down the bottom of the chat that says 0 out of 200. I thought there's nobody here, and I'm expecting 200. And actually up there it says that there are 32 people, but I don't know who they are. but they're there and doing their stuff. I can get rid of some things on here because that's just distracting for everybody. I don't know whether you're playing in teams or whether you're playing individually. I don't know whether you are who won it? Who won last time? Are there previous winners out there? Are there people who are coming back here who are going to win every single week? If so, is it stopping? Should we stop them from winning every single week? Are there some people who are just those school swats and winning everything or not? Okay. Yeah. Right, you all get to score yourselves. Yeah, exactly. That's the sort of behaviour that I'm expecting. Yeah. Is there anybody here has ever been tested for steroid use? Because I feel that performance-enhancing drugs are something that we should not encourage under the broad umbrella of Perennial and all of that stuff. Okay, I'm going to shut that, and we shut this. No real winners announced, actually. Why not? Why do we not know? Why do we not name and shame who happens to be the winner? Even though, is it one of those things? Is it like a primary school egg and spoon race where everyone's a winner? That's probably what it is. Everyone's a winner. This is your first quiz. I'm very, very pleased. Thank you very much for coming along. I missed previous weeks as well. So we are together. This is my first Perennial quiz as well. It is coming up to 7 o'clock. There are 35 people here. How many people should we be expecting, do you think? Do you think that we should hang on a bit longer? Do you think I should just chat? James Burns, thank you very much. My ties are made by a very nice shop called Burroughs, which is in James Street, just on the up the side of Selfridges somewhere. And I go and collect them from there. I think I have about 12 of them in different sort of striped arrangements. And that's that. And all competing against ourselves. Marvelous. Okay, well, let's all give ourselves a jolly good thrashing. It's probably the best thing to do. There are 39 people in this room. Do you think whose skull is that in the background? Yes, no. Well, the skull in the background up there is the skull of a previous president of the Royal Horticultural Society, obviously whose head we removed and shrank during part of a council meeting, probably back in 2018. I think probably is how it sort of works. Okay, so I'm assuming that everybody is settled happily into an armchair somewhere. There are 39 people here, so we might just as well begin the begin, as they say. So we have a number of rounds of questions that we will ask. This will take about an hour or so. And so if we're going to get on with it, we might as well get on with it. I hope that you all have a sharp pencil or something along those lines. So welcome, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, my lords and ladies and whatever. Welcome to the Perennial Quiz, which is coming to you live and direct from Oxfordshire on the 19th of May, which is otherwise known as Chelsea Tuesday. And we are doing this on behalf of the wonderful Perennial, as you know. And Perennial look after horticulturists and gardeners in distress. And at this time that the world is going through, gardeners are not immune from bad things happening to them. And if it does happen, then Perennial will be there to help and to step in. 1,600 odd families last year were helped, which is 10% up on the year before. And I have a horrible feeling that once we get out of this, their services will be needed even more. So you are helping an enormous amount by being here. Thank you very much indeed. During this sort of pandemic thing, Perennial will help people access government support, because that's kind of complicated in places, and make arrangements about delaying bills, and just generally be useful and helpful and a sympathetic ear to listen to. So that's what they're there for, and this is why we're here, and this is what we're doing, is supporting them. So previous quizzes that you've had previous quizmasters. I believe that Chris did it last week because she stepped in because Jeremy's story Walker melted or exploded or something dramatic happened, because wherever Jeremy goes, something dramatic happens. And then the week before that was David Dodd, and before that was Anne-Marie Powell. So I'm sitting in their chair and in their place, and I know that it's theirs because there's a certain amount of debris that has been left behind for me to sort of deal with. Obviously there's a lot of clinking of bottles and old empties and all that kind of stuff, which I suspect is probably Anne-Marie Powell's things. And then there's quite a lot of this lying around, which I think is almost certainly, I mean, those are definitely David Dodd's, I think, probably David Dodd's knickers. And those are probably Anne-Marie's, and they've just left them lying around, which is a disgrace, really, if nothing else. And various other things that have been. I mean, this I found this, which is called performance oil, which I'm sure belongs to one or the other of them, because it says here performance oil, apply oil across entry. So that's almost certainly David Dodd's as well. Okay, so we are doing a horticultural quiz. So bear in mind that all of this has got some sort of horticultural reference to the whole thing. So there you bear that in mind. It may give you some sort of hint or help. So are we ready to start the Perennial Quiz 2020, 19th of May? Our first round is called General Knowledge, and in order to compete in this round, you have to have some sort of knowledge that is general, just so that you know. So question one, you're basically marking yourself, and you're marking your own, and you're not cheating and you're not Googling or anything like that, because Perennial are watching you all the time. Question one, what refreshing drink is made from a form of camellia? A refreshing drink made from a camellia. You can see this is where the horticultural theme comes in. So that is question one. Question two. I'll read them all again at the end of the round so that you don't, but try and keep up. Okay, so question two is a love apple, or a love apple if you prefer, refers to which fruit or vegetable? What fruit or vegetable is a love apple? Question three. What car manufacturer was founded by Colin Chapman in 1952? Think horticulture. Think horticulture. A car manufacturer founded by Colin Chapman in 1952. That is question number three. Question four. Ikebana is a Japanese form of what? What is Ikebana? That's question four. Question five. Who started and still runs the Millennium Seed Bank? Who is in charge of the Millennium Seed Bank? And that will be question number five. Everybody happy? Good. Question number six. Saffron. Saffron, spice, makes rice go yellow and all that kind of stuff. Comes from which flower? From which flower does saffron come? Okay. Okay, Chris, you're there? Right, okay, fine. Seven. What do you, laburnum seeds and mistletoe berries all have in common? You, laburnum seeds and mistletoe berries all have something in common. What is that? That's question number 7. Then we move on to question number 8. Oh, look, Chris is very helpfully writing all these questions down for you so that if you don't catch them, they're coming up on the sort of chatty thing. I'm assuming that that's what's supposed to be happening. Often used in salads. What has the botanical name? Nasturtium officinale. Nasturtium officinale is the botanical name for what salad? Question 9. Ilex. Latin name for? Or alternatively, what is the common name for the tree known in Latin as ilex? And that's question number 9 in the general knowledge round. Question number 10. What were brought to Britain from Germany by Sir Charles Isham in 1847? 1847, Sir Charles Isham tootled off to Germany and he brought back what? And that's question number 10. So question 11, which is a bonus horticultural question. The Royal Hospital, Chelsea, which is where we should be now. Home of the Chelsea pensioners, opened in February 1692. Which architect in 1681 did Charles II commission to design the building? So who designed the Royal Hospital, Chelsea? Who was the architect who done that? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the general knowledge round. So we're going to move straight on to the next round. And after 3 rounds, we're going to stop. We're going to refill our glasses. We're going to return to some sort of equilibrium. And then we are going to go on with the rest of it. So keep going. The next round is history and geography. History and geography. Question 1. Which French impressionist painter built a great garden at Giverny? Who was the painter who built the garden at Giverny, which is unsurprisingly in France? Question number 2. The RHS Flower Show at Tatton Park. So Tatton Park Flower Show is in what county? In what county is Tatton Park? Not just the flower show, but actually Tatton Park itself is in which county? Question number 3 on the history and geography. Which king is traditionally credited with creating the Hanging Gardens of Babylon? The Hanging Gardens of Babylon were created by which king? Typically, he didn't bloody do it, obviously. It was some landscaper who did all the work and got no credit whatsoever. Just nobody, the king, whose name I almost gave away there, but I didn't. The king just took all the credit for creating the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. What was his name? Question number 4. Where in the US will you find redwoods, Sequoia sempervirens, the world's tallest trees? Where in the US will you find them? Question number 5. What year was the Gardeners' Benevolence Institution, now Perennial, founded? In what year was the Gardeners' Benevolence Institution founded? Number 6. Which king, another king, was famous for building the gardens at the Palace of Versailles? Yet again, he did not do it. Some landscapers did it, and he took the credit for it. So which king was that who built the gardens at the Palace of Versailles? Number 7. What common name was Dianthus barbatus given to honour the Duke of Cumberland's victory at the Battle of Culloden? Common name was Dianthus barbatus given to honour the Duke of Cumberland's victory at the Battle of Culloden. The Battle of Culloden. Okay, so what was that? Number 8. Which flower's name comes from the ancient Greek word for star? If you know what the ancient Greek word for star is, you know the answer to this question. Number 9. The Avenue of the Baobabs is a group of famous trees in which African country? An avenue of baobabs in which African country? That would be number 9. Number 10. What was the real first name of Capability Brown? What did his mother call him? What was he christened? Because he sure as hell wasn't christened Capability. So what was his real first name? And number 11, the bonus horticultural question, which is based on the Chelsea Flower Show. At the first Chelsea Flower Show in the Royal Hospital grounds in 1913, John Wood from Boston Spa in Yorkshire won a gold medal for his rock garden. He did. How many other gold medals were awarded that year? So the first Chelsea Flower Show, 1913, rock garden, John Wood, Boston Spa, Yorkshire, gold medal. How many others? And that is the end of the history and geography round. So are all written down in chat if you've missed something. So Chris has got the handle on all of that. And we will move on unless anybody has any questions or queries or suggestions or anything like that. We will move rapidly on to the sporting round. The sporting round in any quiz is greeted either by groans or by quiet cheers, because there's always somebody there. I mean, somebody there who knows some obscure sporting fact that nobody else gives a damn about. So this is that person's chance to shine. Right, okay. Sport. Which English golfer won the US Open in 2013? In 2013, the US Open was played and an English golfer won it. What was that person's name? Question number 2. What is the nickname of Bournemouth FC? Bournemouth FC, the football club in Bournemouth, have a nickname. What is it? That's question number 2. Question number 3. We will whiz across the Atlantic to Toronto. And what is the name of the ice hockey team that is based in Toronto? Canadian ice hockey team based in Toronto. What are they called? That's question number 3. Question number 4. Still horticultural. Horticulture is horticulture all the way through all of this. Every single answer has a horticultural connection to it. Don't forget that. What is the most popular type of wood used in making snooker cues? The snooker cue is made from which wood, mostly? A snooker cue, much beloved by people who play snooker and people who want to have something easy to hit other people with during a bar brawl. Those of us who've seen these things, who've seen cowboy films know all about that. Question number 5. What type of wreath was traditionally awarded to victors in the ancient Olympic Games? The ancient Olympic Games, obviously in Olympia in Greece, they did not have medals, no gold, silver, and bronze for them. They had a wreath made from what? That's number 5. Number 6. What was the full name of the popular grey racehorse known as Desi, who won the Cheltenham Gold Cup in 1989? Who won the Cheltenham Gold Cup in 1989? What was the name of that horse? Desi. What was the full name of that horse? That is question number 6. So now we go on to question number 7. If a game of cricket is played between Lancashire and Yorkshire, what is it called? What is the name that refers to any game of cricket played between Lancashire and Yorkshire? That's not just a sport question, that's actually a history question, one way of looking at it. So that's number 7. Number 8. What American golf club that hosts a golf major every year was built on the site of a former plant nursery called Fruitlands? That's interesting. I did not know this. Former plant nursery called Fruitlands in America is now a golf club, because basically the nursery owners probably went bust because nobody was buying their plants any longer, and they sold it to a golf course. They will not be the first nursery owners or first garden owners to sell it to a golf course, but that's what they did. And what is that golf club called? Number 9. What is the name of the goalkeeper who played for Blackburn Rovers when they won the Premier League in 1985? He earned 11 caps for England and also played for Wolves, Southampton, Swindon Town, Leicester City, Stockport County, Coventry City, and Manchester City. This is a chap who got about a bit. What was his name? What was his name? His name, Tim Howell, is saying that the questions are easy. Oh yeah? Okay, we shall see. What was the name of the goalkeeper? Do you know the answer to this, Tim Howells? What was the name of the goalkeeper who played for Blackburn Rovers in 1985 and earned 11 caps for England and did all the rest of that kind of stuff? So that was number 9. Question 10. The quadrifoglio emblem, also called the clover leaf, has been the symbol of what Italian racing cars since 1923? In 1923, this particular brand of racing car decided that this is what we're going to have as their emblem, and they said, I know what we have. We have so many options. What do we have? We want something that is maybe say this is speedy, this is good car. And we go for quadrifoglio. And so that's what it's going to be. So who are they? Who is the quadrifoglio emblem? And the bonus Chelsea Flower Showy horticultural question is number 11. Which flower from the Asteraceae family has the name Royal Sport in honor of Princess Charlotte's first birthday? A baby pink variety of this flowering plant was named after the royal baby and appeared at the 2016 Chelsea Flower Show. What sort of flower was it? Princess Charlotte was not there because children under the age of 5 are not allowed in, except by special license. So in honor of Princess Charlotte's first birthday, this plant was bred and named after her. So, are we happy? We've got to the end of round 3, and we've done it quite speedily, which I feel is a good thing. If anybody feels that they're being cheated, then I can slow it down a bit. But I reckon that we rattle along quite happily, and we see how it goes. So we will go back to the beginning, and we'll give out some answers, basically, and we'll see what other things. Other thing that was left behind by Anne-Marie and David Dodd, and I'm not quite sure what their thing was. I mean, there's obviously, there's a certain amount of rope which goes with the pants, but yeah, that's what you expect. More empties, obviously, and then there's. What are they using this for? What is David Dodd using this for in a recreational purpose? I just don't think we really need to know. We don't want to know this. Okay, so have you all given lots of money to Perennial in order to be able to do this? Because this don't come cheap, you know. Perennial need to raise some dosh. They need to raise some money because, 10 quid could buy a child's school lunches for a week. 50 quid could pay for a lifeline to be installed, to offering peace of mind to an elderly or disabled service user is what it says here. So money is needed, please. We need money. We're going to go back to the beginning. You ready? Have you got your pencils? Have you got your pieces of paper? None of you have done any cheating or gooding because you're all honourable and delightful gardeners. We're going to go back to the beginning of the general knowledge round. So number 1, and we're going to give you the answers. Is that correct, Chris? That is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not making a major mess up of this, am I? No. Well, anyway, I'm in charge. I'm in the driving seat. I'm going to do it anyway. General knowledge. Number 1. We go back there. You remember that? It wasn't that long ago. Here we go. So, what refreshing drink is made from a form of camellia? Do you know? Of course you do. The camellia is tea. Of course it is. It's the tea bush is a camellia. It's picked. Just the very tips of it are picked in the tea gardens of Ceylon and other places by very nimble women who then put them in baskets behind them. That is question number 1. Question number 2, a love apple. The love apple question. The love apple is, of course, the tomato. A tomato is a love apple. Number 3, the car manufacturer, founded by Colin Chapman in 1952, got to have the horticultural twist to it, but it is a lotus. Lotus. So lotus is that. Okay. These people who are trying to admit they're not honourable, Kelly Fowler and Oliver Andrews, you better not Google, or else I will hunt you down and seek you out. You are, of course, delightful, Kelly Fowler, but not honourable. It's actually quite an advantage sometimes to be delightful and not honourable. It means that you can get away with an awful lot of things. Maybe you should be doing this next and come and play with David Dodd and Anne-Marie's little toys. Right. Ikebana is a Japanese form of what? Of flower arranging, of course. Ikebana is flower arranging, putting one thing to the other. Monty Don did it in his Gardens of Japan thing. He did it really, really badly. Okay, the Japanese person who was teaching was too polite to say otherwise. Number 5, the answer is number 5. Who started and runs the Millennium Seed Bank? It is, of course, the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. Kew runs the Millennium Seed Bank. Next, we go to question number 6. The spice saffron comes from which flower? And it is, of course, the stamens, I think, of the crocus. You need an awful lot of them to make an ounce of saffron. Then we go to question number 7. What do you, laburnum seeds and mistletoe berries all have in common? they are, of course, poisonous and toxic. Actually, yew berries are not poisonous, but the seed inside it is. So there's a little bit of horticultural Russian roulette that you can play occasionally, because a yewberry is actually quite a delicious thing. It's quite gelatinous and quite sweet. But what you have to do is you have to be able to suck off the outside. When I say, you know what I mean, you have to be able to remove the outside and leave the seed and spit the seed out without actually swallowing it. So if you swallow the seed, you're in trouble. But the outside of it actually is very good. Don't do it. Don't do it though. Just a small. You thought we wanted the person with the seed back. You thought, Oliver Andrews, that we were much cleverer than we actually are. Number 8, the answer number 8, often used in salads. The botanical name, Nasturtium officinale, is, of course, watercress. Watercress should only be grown in very clean water, otherwise you'll get yourself a terrible tummy ache. Question number 9. Question number 9. Ilex is the Latin name for holly. Holly is called Ilex. Now it's aquifolium, usually common holly. Question number 10 in the general knowledge round. What was brought to Britain from Germany by Sir Charles Isham in 1847? He brought them from Germany, and the first ones were at Lamport Hall, which is in Northamptonshire, and they are, of course, the garden gnome, and there is one left who is called Lampy. And all the others have disappeared and been lost or broken, and there was one who was found lurking somewhere, and he is now in a museum at Lamport Hall. There you go. You get extra information, Perennial. Okay, so bonus horticultural question, bonus Chelsea question. The Royal Hospital Chelsea, home of the Chelsea Patriots, opened in February 1692. In 1681, King Charles II commissioned which architect? And the architect was, of course, Sir Christopher Wren. And a very fine building it is too. My first wedding was held in the Royal Hospital Chelsea. It's something you probably didn't need to know, but it was. It was not a long-lasting affair. It was over within about 18 months, but we had a nice wedding in the Royal Hospital Chapel, which is quite a nice place to be. Also, just in the courtyard in the Royal Hospital is the Campus statue in London, which is a statue of Charles II, all in gold, posing rather dramatically. And that is the end of the general knowledge round. So now I'm going to move on to the history and geography round. History and geography. I won a prize for history when I was at school. And also I was on, at one point in my life, I think I tell people this a lot, so I apologize if you heard it already. I was on Celebrity Eggheads years ago. It was me and Toby Buckland and Aggie of How Clean Is Your House, which some of you may remember, and Thingy, who won the guy who was a builder who won the first series of Big Brother, and we were all on this. And we didn't do terribly well, but I did win my round. I did beat CJ on geography. It was a question about Sierra Leone. Anyway, which French impressionist built a great garden at Giverny? Somebody got 9 out of 11 on that last round. That's pretty damn good. Gosh, yeah. Dan Riddleston, you're a disappointment to me. You should be doing better than that. 6. That's it. Tut, tut, tut. Okay, right. Where was I? Giverny. Have I done that? I can't remember. Which French impressionist built a great garden at Giverny? It was, of course, Claude Monet. Claude Monet. That's question 1, because I hadn't done any questions at all because I was too busy dribbling on about Celebrity Eggheads. Question number 2. The RHS Flower Show at Tatton Park is in what county? Tatton Park is in the county of Cheshire. Cheshire is where we're going there. So that's question number 2. Question number 3, and history and geography round. Which king is traditionally credited with creating the hanging gardens of Babylon? And the answer, of course, is Nebuchadnezzar II. Nebuchadnezzar II did that. People are getting 2 points. Phil Swainson got 2 points. I really don't think this is very impressive. I think you must possibly do more cheating or lie or do something like that. But lots of 9s and 8s and 6s, many 6s. This is marvelous. Okay, so that's the answer to number 3. Question number 3 on the history and geography round is Nebuchadnezzar II. And then number 4, where in the United States would you find redwoods, sequoias, sempervirens, the world's tallest trees? And you would, of course, find them in California. California is when they reach sort of 300 feet, 91 meters, and long way up there. taller than Tom Stewart Smith even. He's close to 91 meters, but not quite. So that's number 4. Question number 5. What was the year that the Gardeners Benevolent Institution, now Perennial, was founded? When were we founded? Perennial was founded in 1839. 1839 was the first meeting. 6. Does that mean we're due an anniversary of some sort? I can't. My maths doesn't quite work. We had one the other day, didn't we? I came and spoke at it, I think. There was one. Anyway, question number 6. Which king was famous for building the gardens at the Palais de Versailles? Another king who took credit for building gardens. And the answer is Louis XIV. Louis XIV built the gardens at the Palace of Versailles, which I believe were designed by a chap called Le Notre. But the name of the guy who actually laid the path edges is not recorded, which is a shame. But he was probably called Gaston. Number 7. What common name was Dantas Barbatus given to honour the Duke of Cumberland's victory at the Battle of Culloden? Battle of Culloden, and the answer is Sweet William. Sweet William. Sweet William did it. There we go. Then which flower's name, this is number 8, which flower's name comes from the ancient Greek word for star? Star! Obviously, if you think of astronaut and all that sort of stuff, got to be an aster. An aster comes from the Greek word for star. So that's the answer to number 8. Number 9, the Avenue of the Baobabs. The Baobabs is a group of famous trees in which African country? It is Madagascar. 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 I like this. A nice bit of cultural contribution here. Sweet William, also known as Stinking Billy, if you're a Scot. True. Battle of Culloden was not good for the Scots. Duke of Cumberland was not nice to them in any way. Okay, and question number 10. What was the real first name of the gardener Capability Brown? Capability Brown, what was his real first name? His real first name was Lancelot. Lancelot. Lancelot Capability Brown. And our bonus question, the bonus horticultural question, at the first Chelsea Flower Show at the Royal Hospital Grounds in 1913, John Wood from Boston Spa in Yorkshire got a gold medal for his rock garden. How many other gold medals were awarded that year? And the answer is none. Only 1 gold medal was awarded. That was it. That was the gold rush in 1913. John Wood from Boston Spa. Hurrah for him. That was the only gold medal awarded. Okay, so that's the end of the history and geography round. Everybody happy? Everybody still there? Still with us? Still doing what they're supposed to do? Excellent. We then move on to sport. Which English golfer won the US Open in 2013? Who cares? I mean, that's not fair. That's not fair. Justin Rose. Justin Rose. He has to have a horticultural connection. Justin Rose. He's called Rose. He won the US Open in 2013. Good for him. Then, question number 2. Bournemouth FC have a nickname. And the nickname is the Cherries. The Cherries. Bournemouth FC are known as the Cherries. Okay, and then we go into number 3 in the sporting round. The Canadian ice hockey team based in Toronto. We're looking for a horticultural answer, and the answer is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Leafs or Leaves, one or the other. The Toronto Maple Leafs are the Canadian ice hockey team based in Toronto. That's number 3 in the sport round. Number 4, snooker cues are, of course, made from ash wood, as were the arrows. During the 100 Years' War, they were made from ash because they were sort of straight and made good arrows. So the longbows were made out of yew, which obviously got poisonous berries. We found that earlier. And the arrows were made from ash, and they were fletched. The best ones were fletched with goose feathers. These are extra information we give you here at Perennial. Number 5, what type of wreath was traditionally awarded to victors in the ancient Olympic Games? What type of wreath was awarded to them? And it was the laurel wreath. So the laurel wreath, they were given laurel wreaths. They did their running on this sort of elliptical narrow track. They did their wrestling, doing wrestling. There was a lot of nakedness and stuff going on there. So that all helps. And it was a laurel wreath. And they also tend to hold laurel leaves above Roman emperors, and Romans wore them. And there's a lovely bit in Asterix where they run off laurel, and the slave is holding this crown above the victorious Roman general, and it's made of parsley. And there's a sort of little joke in there, but I can't remember what. Anyway, it's in the Asterix. Read Asterix. Everybody should read Asterix. Anybody who's not read Asterix is a bad idea. Right. Number 6, the grey racehorse known as Desi, who won the Cheltenham Gold Cup 1989, of course, was Desert Orchid. You should have got that. Number 7, what is the name that refers to any game of cricket played between Lancashire and Yorkshire? It is the Roses match, obviously, between after the War of the Roses that ended in 1485 with the accession of Henry VII and the beginning of the Tudors. Then we go to number 8. The American Golf Club that hosts a golf major every year was built on the site of a former nursery called Fruitlands, and that is the home of the Masters, Augusta National. The Augusta National Club is built on the site of a plant nursery called Fruitlands. Then number 9, the goalkeeper. The name of the goalkeeper who played for Blackburn Rovers when they won the Premier League in '85. He won 11 caps for England. He also played for Wolves, Southampton, Swindon Town, Leicester City, Stockport County, Coventry City, and Manchester City. And his name was, bearing in mind that we have a horticultural bent to all of these things, Tim Flowers. Tim Flowers. And number 10, the quadrifolio emblem. Also known as the cloverleaf, has been the symbol of what Italian racing cars since 1923, and it is the Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo has the quadrifolio. Quadrifolio. Okay, and the bonus question on the sport round is, which flower from the Asteraceae family has the name Royal Sport in honor of Princess Charlotte's first birthday? Baby pink variety flowering plant. Was named after the baby and appeared in the 2016 Chelsea Flower Show. It was a chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum Royal Sport is the one for all of our gardens. So that means that you have had the answers to 3 rounds. You've had general knowledge, you've had sport, and you have had history and geography. Is everybody out there happy? An answer came there, none at all. But I'm assuming that we are happy enough to carry on, and that is what we will do. Who's got full marks out there? Anybody? No, nobody at all. Has anybody got close to full marks? No. No. Okay, not bad. Everybody's going well. Everybody's happy. Okay, we're going to go now to music. Have you all liked Perennial in all sorts of places where social media happens? Like, are you following us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and everywhere else? I hope you are, because everybody needs Perennial in their lives. Also, have you coughed up? Have you donated for this? Which would be lovely if you could do that as well. That would be great. Right, we're going to go on to the music round. We were going to do real music, but apparently we're not allowed to, so we're going to do talked music or spoken music. Ready to roll? Everybody's glasses have been recharged. Everybody's had a pee. We're off now. Music, number 1. Name the Britpop band that joined up with Bodil and Skinner to record 3 Lions ahead of Euro 96. So what was the band who went on with Bodil and Skinner to record, all that one, ahead of Euro 96? Bearing in mind that all the questions have a horticultural connection somewhere along the line. Okay, so then we move on to, is that Helen? Oh, history was a disaster. Is that Helen? Hello, Helen, if it's that Helen. The other Helen, not Helen. Okay, number 2. In their duet, Barbara Streisand and Neil Diamond accused each other of not bringing what anymore? You don't bring me what, is what they said. So what was it? That's number 2. Number 3, who sang Digging in the Dirt? Digging in the Dirt. Who sang Digging in the Dirt? Okay. That's number 3. Number 4, Rob, Izzy, Axel, Tracy, and Ole, or Ole, were the original lineup for which band? Which band was Rob, Izzy, Axel, Tracy, and Ole? or ole, or ole, 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 whichever one it is. Who is that? Then we move on to number 5. Which controversial London-born singer has a presenter dad called Keith and an actor brother called Alfie? So which singer? London-born singer, presenter dad called Keith, actor brother called Alfie. They all 3 of them share the same surname, which may come as a surprise to some of you. Number 6. Complete the missing word from this song. Why do you build me up, baby, just to let me down, mess me around? So the missing word. Why do you build me up, baby, just to let me down, mess me around? Who's that? What is that missing word from that song? Number 7. 2 songs, Moments of Pleasure and Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God, are just 2 hits for which female singer? Which female singer sang Running Up That Hill and Moments of Pleasure? Who was that? Okay. Then we move on to question number 8. Who composed The Flight of the Bumblebee? Just a little bit of sophistication tucked in there amongst the other stuff, amongst the popular culture. Flight of the Bumblebee. Who was the composer of Flight of the Bumblebee? Okay, and there we go on to number 9. Often called one of the forefathers of the grunge genre, along with bands like Nirvana. I need the name of a Seattle band, not Nirvana, but one of the forefathers of the grunge genre, bearing in mind that everything will have a horticultural connection somewhere along the line. That's question number 9. So then we move on to question number 10. Which iconic Beatles album cover depicts the band's name in a bed of hyacinths and peperomia plants? The band's name is written in hyacinths and peperomia plants. It's a Beatles album cover. What is the name of the album, please? And that's question number 10. So then we move on to question number 11, which is the bonus horticultural question. Music is banned from the show gardens and exhibits, but what musical feature can be found in Ranelagh Gardens during the RHS Chelsea Flower Show? It's actually there even when the Chelsea Flower Show isn't there, but there is something in Ranelagh Gardens which is a musical feature. What is it? What is it? So that is the end of the music round, which means that we have one more round to go, and that round is TV and film. So the TV and film round. Question 1. Who designed the Blue Peter Italian sunken garden in 1974? In 1974, the Blue Peter Italian sunken garden was designed by whom? That's question number 1. Question number 2. Katniss Everdeen is the main protagonist and the narrator of which book and film trilogy? Katniss Everdeen is the main protagonist and the narrator of which book and film trilogy? Okay, Katniss Everdeen. Number 3. Perennial President Alan Titchmarsh, Lord Alan of Titchmarsh, teamed up with Tommy Walsh and Charlie Dimmock to make which series about rapid garden makeovers? Rapid garden makeovers? Who's that, do you think? Alan Titchmarsh, Tommy Walsh, Charlie Dimmock make a series about rapid garden makeovers. That's number 3. So then we go to a number 4. In which film do British retirees travel to India to take up residence? A load of British retirees go to India to live there, and what is the name of that film? Number 5. Magic Roundabout. Remember the Magic Roundabout? Many of you will be far too young to know the Magic Roundabout, but I remember it. The Magic Roundabout was the last 5 minutes before the 6 o'clock news at the end of children's television. And I watched it religiously, I think, probably for quite a long time. What was the name of the cynical snail in the Magic Roundabout? The cynical snail in the Magic Roundabout was called what? Number 5. Which mountain flower is the subject matter of a song in The Sound of Music? There's a mountain flower found high up in the Alps. Sound of Music. What was the name of that flower? Okay, then we move on to number 7. So question number 7. Name the garden that starred in a TV series presented by Dan Pearson. BBC TV series, Dan Pearson. What was that program called? What's the name of that garden? Number 8. Question number 8. The Perks of Being a What is a 2012 American coming-of-age film written and directed by Stephen Chbosky, based on Chbosky's 1999 novel of the same name. The Perks of Being a What. So all I want is just that one word, a what. It's 2012 American coming-of-age film written and directed by Stephen Chbosky, based on Chbosky's 1999 novel of the same name. Chbosky, one of those names that you endlessly have to spell out to people because they'd always get it wrong. Okay, then question number 9. Question 9. 3 questions left. In what year was Gardener's World first broadcast? In what year was Gardener's World first broadcast? It feels as if it's been here forever. Maybe it has. In what year was it first broadcast? And that's question number 9. And then question number 10. Which actor had his breakthrough as the character Legolas in the Lord of the Rings film series? The name of the actor who played Legolas in the Lord of the Rings film series, bearing in mind that we still have this horticultural thing wiggling its way through everything. So what was the name of that actor? And that's question number 10. So question number 11, which is the bonus horticultural question. The story of a team of criminals from Ley Hill Prison who won a gold medal at the Chelsea Flower Show, I remember that garden, was turned into a movie called Green Fingers, starring which actress? Which actress was in a movie called Green Fingers, based on the team of criminals from Ley Hill Prison? It was an open prison, so they weren't exactly desperate criminals, but they were still criminals, who won a gold medal at the Chelsea Flower Show. And this actress, in 2006, won the Academy Award for Best Actress as Queen Elizabeth in The Queen. So what was the name of that actress? And so that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us breathless and panting to the end of the Perennial quiz. Isn't that exciting? We've got through that. So now we're going to go back to the beginning of the music round, and we're going to give the answers, and then we're going to see. So as everybody think they've done pretty well on this one, pretty good on the music thing, pretty good on the TV and film thing. Right, let's see whether that is the case. Out of the previous rounds, so at this point, this halfway point where we're just about to find out, has anybody got 33? No, nobody's got 33. Or close to 33? Anybody on full marks? No? Okay, fine. It's pretty difficult, some of these, but we'll see how we go. Music. The Britpop band that joined up with Baddiel and Skinner to record Three Love ahead of Euro 96 was, of course, the Lightning Seeds. David Lewis, 17, not bad, but not 33. Pretty darn good. Okay, so the Lightning Seeds is the answer to question 1 on the music round. Question, Piper Hocking. Piper Hocking is my new friend who I've met through Anne-Marie's My Real Garden thing. She got 23. That's pretty damn good. Okay, so name the Britpop band, that was Lightning Seeds. Number 2, in the duet, Barbra Streisand and Neil Diamond accuse each other of not bringing what anymore. You don't bring me flowers anymore. So the answer is flowers. You don't bring me flowers anymore. Shed a tear every time you hear it. No flowers. Number 3, Digging in the Dirt was sung by Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel, late of Genesis, as in Sledgehammer, and quite a groovy video he did. The first video, almost the first music video that I can remember, was that one. Peter Gabriel. Number 4, Rob, Izzy, Axl, Tracy, and Ole were the original lineup for Guns N' Roses. So Guns N' Roses had those people: Rob, Izzy, Axl, Tracy, and Ole. Number 5, the controversial London-born singer has a presenter dad called Keith and an actor brother called Alfie, and that is, of course, Lily Allen. So Lily Allen is one. Alfie's the one who was in Game of Thrones and had his bits removed. And Keith was in the comic strip and things like that in the late 80s, early 90s. Then, number 6, complete the missing word from this song. Why do you build me up, blank, baby, just to let me down, mess me around? And that is, of course, why do you build me up, buttercup? And it's Build Me Up, Buttercup by the Foundations. Why don't you build me up, buttercup, baby? Yeah, one. Remember that? Number 7, Moments of Pleasure and Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God, are sung by which female singer? And it is, of course, Kate Bush. Kate Bush is known particularly for sharing the same birthday as me, although she is a tiny bit older. But we both had the same birthday. It was July the 30th. If anybody wants to write that down and send me a card, that would be marvelous. Thank you. Complete the mystery. Oh, we've done that. Who composed The Flight of the Bumblebee? The Flight of the Bumblebee was, of course, composed by Rimsky-Korsakov. Rimsky-Korsakov composed The Flight of the Bumblebee. Number 9 is often called one of the forefathers of the grunge genre, along with bands like Nirvana. This Seattle band are, remembering the horticultural connection we have going the whole way through it, is Soundgarden. Soundgarden are the other grungy lot, like Nirvana, from Seattle as well. I went to Seattle in February. It was lovely. It was a nice place. Number 10. Which iconic Beatles album cover depicts the band's name in a bed of hyacinths and peperomia plants? It is, of course, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. That, the album cover with all the famous people on it, and then the thing around the flowers at the bottom with the name Beatles in it. And that's question number 10, the music round. Question number 11 is the bonus horticultural question. Music is banned from show gardens and exhibits. What musical feature can be found in Ranelagh Gardens during the flower show? And it is, of course, the bandstand, from which many things perform, whether they be bands or whether they be dance troupes or whether they be... At one point, I've caught Anne-Marie Powell performing on the bandstand. It's quite embarrassing. I had to cover her up with a blanket. As banned from the show gardens, I did a sound garden 3 years ago, sound garden, where we couldn't have any music, but we played it through water. Some of you may remember that. So that's the end of the music round. So now we move on to the answers for our last round, which is TV and film. TV and film. Who was the designer of the Blue Peter sunken Italian garden in 1974? He designed it, and it was, of course, the original Blue Peter gardener, Percy Thrower. Percy Thrower was there. He was in charge of Gardeners World and all sorts of things until he did some deal over the compost company and got fired for being too commercial. He also had quite a lot to do with the Shrewsbury Flower Show, I think, or the setting up of it, or the existence of it, and how that sort of went. Tim Howell got 8 on that round, not bad. And there's someone's got a 9 on the music round. That was pretty darn good. Helen, the answer to the music question number 11 was the bandstand. The bandstand in Ranelagh Gardens is what that is. Okay, so Percy Thrower, TV and film, question 1. Number 2. Katniss Everdeen is the main protagonist and narrator in which book and film trilogy? And it is The Hunger Games. Now, I was looking at this and I was thinking, where is the horticultural thread in that? And I'm still a bit stuck, unless Everdeen sounds quite like evergreen, possibly. Anyway, it's there. It's the Hunger Games, of course. Lots of Hunger Games and shooting people and all sorts of fun bits and pieces like that. Number 3, which is the perennial president, Sir Alan of Titchmarsh. He teamed up with Tommy Walsh and Charlie Dimmock to make a series about rapid garden makeovers. What was that? And it was, of course, Ground Force. I was just trying to remember the theme tune to Ground Force, and I can't do it. No, can't do that one. Can't do that one. Please don't tell me either. I can quite. Oh, Katniss, Hortlink, Katniss, Catnip. I think, Chris, that is quite catmint or catnip evergreen. Then it will be fine. That would sort of work. Katniss plant, Sagittaria, Sagittarifolia. Oh, well, if you'd said that, then that sort of, is that why she's called Katniss? Because of the Sagittarius, because she did that sort of arrow thing. Chris, you're wiser than I am. Well done. I mean, that's a very, very subtle and clever connection, which I like. Okay, so question number 3. Alan Titchmarsh, Tom Wolfe, Charlie Dimmock, Ground Force. Bang. Question number 4. In which film do British retirees travel to India to take up residence? And that is, of course, the best exotic Marigold Hotel. I think it's Bill Nye probably doing his Bill Nye shtick again. That's excellent. And then number 5, the cynical snail in the Magic Roundabout was, of course, Brian. Brian, the cynical snail. He wasn't called the cynical snail, but he was undoubtedly had a certain attitude to life. And then there was Dylan, who was a rabbit, who was basically stoned all the time. He spent an awful lot of time smoking dope. And the Magic Roundabout was actually written by Emma Thompson's father. Okay, so that's number 5 is Brian. Number 6, Mansion Flower is the subject matter of a song in The Sound of Music, is of course Edelweiss, Edelweiss, da, 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 which was sung by Julie Andrews, but also it was also sung as a reprise by what was the captain's name? Who's the actor who played the captain in The Sound of Music? He was Christopher Plummer. Christopher Plummer also sang it to a guitar. I think it's probably in the concert in the end when they, oh, spoiler alert, when they escape. So he does that. He sings it too. So they both sing it. Piper Songking, 6 out of 6. Go for it. Okay, number 7. What is the garden that starred in the TV series presented by Dan Pearce? I think this is quite a difficult one. What was it called? What was the garden, or what was the television program called? And it was Home Farm. A Year at Home Farm, it was called. They were there for a year. Interestingly, I stole a seed head of a poppy from that garden. I sowed it in my previous garden, and I brought its children to this garden, and they still grow now. Is what that is, and as a result, for my poppies have became a big thing within our lives because they were sort of moved from houses and houses, and my wife was very keen on all that sort of stuff. So for my birthday, and some of you may have heard the story. So my birthday, we had a family tattoo. And so my children and I all had tattoos of poppies put on, and they have, my younger son has a bud, and then my 2 middle children have flowers, and I have a knackered old seed head, which is just there. And if somebody gives, I know, what should we say? Somebody gives Perennial extra 200 quid tonight, then I will show you my poppy tattoo. How does that sound? Does that sound like a reasonable deal? So rattle. I mean, some people are more excited by some things than others, but if you would like to see an old man's tattoo of a poppy, then I'm very, very happy to show it to you for another 200 quid donation to Perennial. I think that sounds fair. Don't say get it out, get it out. You get your wallet out first, Kelly Fowler, before anything like that happens. And I need confirmation from Chris that 200 quid has been handed over in some way, or and then I will show it to you. Right. Okay. So. Question number 8. The Perks of Being a What? A 2012 American coming-of-age film written and directed by Stephen Chbosky, based on his novel, is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. A wallflower. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. That's what that's called. And that's number 8. Number 9. What year was Gardener's World first broadcast? And it was, of course, first broadcast in 1968. 1968, and Arthur somebody, Claps Farm is where it's filmed from. I think it's got Arthur somebody. Carried on, it's a whole series of things. Number 10, which actor had his breakthrough as the character Legolas in the Lord of the Rings film series, and his name was, of course, Orlando Bloom. All that sort of jumping around and firing arrows and looking elfin with funny ears. And the bonus horticultural question, the story of a team of criminals from Lay Hill Prison who won a gold medal at the Chelsea Flower Show, turned to a movie called Green Fingers, and the actress who starred in that, I think possibly as the governor of the prison, possibly, was, of course, Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren, because she won the Oscar in 2006. 2006. As playing Queen Elizabeth II in The Queen. And that, interestingly, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of tonight's quiz, because we've got there. So who has got full marks? Anybody? Who has got, say, I don't know, 30 in the 40s, in the 30s. Oh, Piper Hocking. Piper Hocking is the school SWAT, I think, probably, because that brings you up with quite a lot of points in that whole thing. 10 out of 55. Oliver Andrews. Yes, well done. That's exactly what we like. David Lewis appears to have got 3 out of the whole damn. Hold on, I think that's not so good. 28 for Kelly Fowler. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Total last 2 rounds were a disaster. 24 points total, not bad. 42 for Piper Hocking. Wow, that's quite impressive. 30 out of 55. David Lewis, that's the whole team. Okay, that's just embarrassing. You don't need to tell us that. 33 is good. Piper Hocking is still top of the leaderboard. Jane Anthony, 31. You're doing okay. You're doing all right. You're doing okay. There's 50 people been in here. You've all hung around to the end, which I think is admirable and wonderful. So while you all add everything up and then think about what you're going to eat and where your next drink is coming from and all sorts of things like that, I would like to say thank you to you for turning up and supporting Perennial tonight. I would like to say say thank you to Perennial for being here for all horticulturists when we need you. They're there. Oh, look, there's a 43. Kate Cooney has pipped Piper Hocking to the post with a 43. Whoa, that's quite impressive. And it's doing very, very nicely. Anne Brody, the sport writer, always gets everybody. It's because nobody really gives a damn about golf. Sorry, except for Joe Swift, who's completely obsessed by the whole thing. But thank you very much for supporting Perennial. The next quiz, which I think is next week, is being hosted by Lee Connolly, who is the skinny jean gardener and is young and promising and all those sickening things that we don't like. But you know, he's good at what he does. He's exciting. He's brilliant with children. He's a pain in the ass, needs a slap around the head, obviously. So I trust you to give that to him with my regards. And in the meantime, support Perennial. Look after Perennial so that they may look after us. Stay safe, stay well, stay at home, and all of that kind of thing, except when you can go to work safely. Gardeners are very lucky in that we were outside and doing things, and it's quite easy to do safe, social distancing and all this sort of stuff. And personally, as far as I'm concerned, as soon as social distancing ends, the better, because I miss kissing people. And that's what Chelsea should be about, is about wandering up and down Main Avenue, hugging people. I'm not going to show you my tattoo, Tim Howell, unless somebody pays the money. You pay the money, you get it. So somebody has to come. I'll do it at the next quiz if you want. I'll do it anytime, but it's got to be 200 quid for that one, and possibly another 200 quid for one of the others. I'll leave you with that one. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. My name is James Sinclair. It's been a delight and a pleasure to be here and talking to you. I hope that you have a jolly evening and a delightful rest of the week. Go and attend Virtual Chelsea. Go and watch a weird television program that I am faintly involved in, episodes 3 and 8, called The Big Flower Fight, which is on Netflix, and it is this sort of chaos of God knows what, of floristry and sculptures and over-the-topness generally, and just a little bit of camp. So go and do that, and go and watch the BBC coverage of Chelsea Flower Show, and admire what we've seen, and look forward to what we will see. Okay, that's it. Good night, everybody. Sleep well. Boff. I can't get out of this. I can't leave. I'm here forever. No, there we are. I'm ending my stream.